Hey guys, how are you?
Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Oh, you got my future in your hand. Here I am, baby. You got my future in your hand. Hey, I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. Yeah, didn't I? Oh, baby, seen a lot of things in this old world. When I touch them, there means nothing, girl. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. I'm yours. Ooh, we think you set my soul on fire. That's why I know you're my only desire. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Whoa, you got my future in your hand, baby. Here I am, baby. You got my future in your hand, baby. Yeah, I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. I could be a broken man, but here I am with the future getting you today. Here I am, baby. Here I am, baby. Get it, I know it's good. Oh, baby, here I am, baby.
Hola, ¿cómo están? It's the love. I mean, I had the pose and everything and nobody saw it except for Oscar. And the music stopped, so, you know, all right, so, good morning, everybody. Hi, Robin. Thank you so much. Somebody said hi. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Excellent. That looks really good. I'll just take this from you. Okay, good morning. What sort of news did you hear this morning? I'm so glad Melinda and Shalina are now. What news did you hear this morning?
Interest rate for us.
Oh, my goodness, interest rates are up. Is this something we have to talk about this morning? Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I've been up since 6 a.m. changing the whole team meeting. So yes, I'm so glad we should talk about it because we're going to talk about it. And thank you, Linda, beautiful Taylor. So we're going to talk about that this morning. And so we've got a packed house and a packed meeting. So I need 2 people to tell me something they're grateful for or thankful for, and it doesn't even have to be about business. I'm thankful I got my grandkids over at the house this weekend or last weekend. Woo, woo. So what about you? Give me one person. Give it to me, Crystal.
I can't give it to you without giving a little preamble. 2 weeks ago, my daughter was in a hit and run or in an accident that rolled her car 4 times.
Oh, no.
That she walked away. I knew that she was, you know, that prayer that we say, place that hedge of protection around our children. So I'm very grateful for that. But guess what? I'm really excited about what in the interim as we deal with this. I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
And the things that we used to do all the time was listen to scripture. And so
Now you're doing that.
we're doing that again. And she's at a time in her life where she needs that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm like, first she's like, well, Mom, guess what? Just like in the old days, you could drive to and from work. And I'm like, what? But it's perfect because it takes me a different route. It takes me to the office faster. And we pray and in scripture, scripture.
You know, the bonding that is taking place there is just incredible. That bonding is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, one more. What? Susan, raise your hand first. You had double layers behind you.
Mike Watkin and his friend Brady B, they helped me unstay the house yesterday and played catcher to my storage unit, which was really fun. Because apparently I acquired more furniture. I don't know how that happened. But
So for those that know Susan, that's a big ha-ha. You really don't know?
no, Mike, or haven't used Mike, you really should, but I'm grateful for them because they make it so easy to do my job and do a great service for my clients.
Awesome.
Recently also helped me as an elderly client that his kids were literally throwing away everything in the house.
Oh, and he's freaking out.
Yeah, and anyway,
Awesome. You guys are going to hear about another option this morning too, that I think that you will all grow to love as well. And so I'm excited to be able to talk with him in just a minute. So who wants to win something? Woo! Okay, you cannot, thank you so much. You cannot look on your phones. You can't look it up right now. If you got a laptop open, you got to close it. You cannot look this up. This is, oh, look at the other day. She slammed that. I'm absolutely yeah, okay. In 2019, what was the average interest rate and how many homes were sold in the US? Okay, now we got to guess. All right, Susan's got to guess.
5.65, I think.
Okay,
I'm saying 6.25.
all right. Susan says 5.6 what?
5.
Okay, and Susan and Sissy says
6.25.
7 what?
6.25.
6.5.
I'm gonna say 6.75.
All right, and Jan says 6.75. All right, and then that was Brian. All right, that's it. Ballots closed, ballots closed. We don't even have ballot boxes, ballots closed. What'd you say? 5 point, okay. All right, and so that's our, so we're talking about homes sold, right?
Oh.
Oh, wait, are these, were you guessing mortgage rates here? All right, interest rates. Okay, this is what interest rates are. Okay. How about homes sold? How many total homes sold in 2019?
Okay, Susan, answer first. So you have to answer first now.
Oh.
572.
Did you answer last time? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I got it. It's one question.
It's one question.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh,
I only have one gift. I feel good. Melanie, let's do this. Wait. I need a t-shirt. Okay, all right. We're gonna give two gifts. Two gifts, all right? So one for the mortgage rates, one for the how many homes were sold. Go.
So 63,460.
Okay, all of the United States. All
Yeah.
US.
That's right. That's not much. I know that number because I just heard it. No. 5.6 million? 8.6 million.
8.6, Susan. Jan said, how many?
5.6.
5.6.
7.3.
Okay, Oscar, 7.3. Anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring?
5.4 million.
5.4 million. All right, Crystal. Why is this important? Perspective. Was 2020 and 2019, with 2020, were 2020 and 2021 weird anomaly years? Yes, they were. All right, so if we can present, okay, if you can go that present review. Okay, here we go. 2019, 5.34 winner chicken dinner. Woo! Did you get a t-shirt last time or you got that last time? Okay, all right. So, and then interest rates in 2019, 3.94. Oh, man. Closest one, Brian, top hat, please. Out of his hat. Stand up. Top hat, everybody. Melody's gonna get you your custom t-shirt. All right, okay, if you want to go back to those slides again. Yeah, let's get on that. Okay, so 2020 and 2021, these were anomaly years. I hope y'all put some money back because we made about 20 to 24% each year off of our in our commissions, right?
Yeah.
2021 and 2020. So when we look at our stats and we look at where we're going and we're talking to our sellers, 2019 is more of a normalized market, right? So, so I do want you to know what those are. So congratulations to the winners. Woo! Okay, can I get my clicker? All right, we're gonna do, how many of you have signed up for a fall festival? Okay, not very many. How many of you want more information about it? Raise your hand. Good. All right, let's roll that. Will you, Raven? those of you who have not committed, this is what I want to tell you. If you invite 0 to 25 guests, it's $175. You know how much it costs us to put that on? A lot. Thousands, right? Thousands. And it's amazing. And it's a wonderful job. And Robin Taylor has done an amazing job at helping facilitate this year. So please take one down, pass it around. Let's give Robin Taylor. Thank you. All right, let's switch on. Please take that slide. We're down to the wire, you guys. We need this done now. So we're down to the wire. Melody, come on up here, please, and tell us about our code drive. Yes,
What is the deadline to sign up?
yesterday. Get on it now. Robin, how would you answer that? Yesterday. I'm so good at that. Do you notice I do that all the time? I call on people when they're mid-bite.
Yes, yesterday would be great. We need to know by the end of this month how many people you're inviting.
That's
Melody
Friday.
sent out a link where you would click on the link and let us know you're participating and the number of people you're inviting.
And I'll send it out again today.
This is a no-brainer, you guys, such a no-brainer. All right, what do you have to tell us, Miss Melody?
It's almost here, guys. Winter coat drive is almost coming to an end, but I need your help. So yesterday, Lee and I counted as we leave. 72 coats.
Wow.
So I need 200 more coats to get this 367, that goal we want to make for the Roswell Office. So we're still collecting coats up until next Tuesday, team meeting.
Is this just Roswell office or all three offices?
This Roswell Office, this is the South Girl. So I know we can do this. I know we can make some families, some kids, some adults, some teenagers very warm this holiday season. So if you guys coats in your closet, close in your closet. You got your client, you got your database. Hey, reach out to the database, because a lot of agents have reached out to their database and their database is giving back. So they're going through their coats and everything. So I need your help by next Tuesday, because we have to deliver it next Tuesday to them.
Oh, we're gonna blow that out in the water.
Yeah.
We are. It reminded me
Blow that
to
in
be.
the water.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Miss Melody. Yay. That was Melody's idea, by the way. All right, Junkman, we talked a little bit about junk removal earlier, so I want to introduce you to Jordan Washington. He is our lunch sponsor. Thank you, Jordan, for the lunch. Come on up and tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
Warrington. Jordan Warrington.
Thanks. I just read what was on the screen, so Jordan, we need to fix that, so.
I think I got the wrong office.
Tell us
Yeah,
what we're doing.
yeah. My name is Jordan Warrington. I'm the owner of Junkman, Junk Removal and Hauling. We're a full service residential and commercial junk removal and demolition company. We're based in Kennesaw, but we service the whole metro Atlanta area. So that's pretty much, like Cobb County, Cherokee, Paulding, Fulton County, DeKalb, all over. If it is a little bit outside of our radius, we just charge $1 per mile outside of our radius, and then back in it just recompensates us for, fuel mileage. Some of the things that we do, of course, in junk removal would be, full home clean out, driveway and curbside pickups, office clean outs to restaurants, hotels, storage facilities, you name it. Where there's junk, so are we. So when it comes down to light demolition, it's like hot tubs, sheds, barns, trailer homes, stuff like that. So we don't go too heavy into demolition, like, full homes, but, small stuff like hot tubs, sheds, barns, trailer homes. Some of the social media platforms that we're located on will be Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, Google. We got 107 5-star reviews on Google, all 5-star, no bad ones. So, we're legit, we're the stuff. We are the junk man. So, also LinkedIn, get connected with us on there. So my saying is, if you ever need a junk hand, call junk man.
How quickly can you show up with?
So 90% of the time, we're like same day or next day, and we live this out, same week.
Well done. All right, you guys, you've heard me talk about elevator speech. That was a phenomenal elevator speech, wasn't it? I mean, you know exactly what he was doing and what he was all about. Talk about being precise And, you know, this is what I do. This is how I can help you. This is this is how to contact me. That was amazing. Well done, Jordan. Have you done that a time or two?
Every week.
Every week. All right, you guys, Kathy and Kathy, do you want to just wait and Kathy, do you want to just wait? Kathy's going to join me in just a little bit as we go through some stats and we address that nice little interest rate hike that we've seen. So she's going to join us in a few minutes. So you still want to do the shelter mortgage?
No, you can go past that one, Raven. And I'm just gonna go quick list reports. For those that aren't familiar with it, list reports is something that I pay for as a loan officer. You can team up with me. This is one that Donna had created. You can do listing presentations. You can go in and pull a FML listing that you're showing to a buyer. It's gonna give you all the school information. It's gonna pull the picture. So I'll be sending invitations. You can email me if you want to. Again, it's free. It's just a service that I decided to purchase and get involved with to help you. But they're very professional. Like I said, listing presentations, open house flyers, open house, signing sheets. You can, like I said, you can pull another agent's listing, send it to your buyer, so that they get all the details on that listing.
Yeah, that's
Just trying to help, informative. I pull it every once in a while for buyers too, when they're talking about a house, I'll just pull it, under the agent's names I'm already teamed with. So,
That's awesome. I used to use this all the time and I mean, it's beautiful collateral. It's just beautiful. So nice job. Nice job. Okay, you guys, thank you for that. Flip back over. Awesome. Okay, Kern, come on up. Miss Kern Schwartz. I'm gonna just point out the shoes. All right, I just want to point out the shoes. They're pretty amazing.
They're actually pretty comfortable.
Okay, I'm Kern Schwartz. I'm actually only 5'4".
No, not now. Don't worry about that.
So we are your closing attorney alliance partner. All right. I want everybody who has closed a transaction to raise your hands. Okay, keep it raised if you have closed a transaction that where your buyer got an FHA loan. Keep it raised if you closed where your buyer got a VA loan. Keep it raised if you've done a 1031 tax deferred exchange. Keep it raised if you have closed seller financing. Keep it raised if you have closed a short sale. Keep it raised if you've closed something that was an REO, a foreclosure. Keep it raised if you've closed something that was an investor. Yeah, don't raise them back up. Keep it raised. Keep it raised if you closed a transaction where there was private financing.
Hard money.
Keep it raised if you closed a hard money. Keep it raised if you've closed rural housing. I didn't think we were going to get this far. All right, here's the kicker. Yeah, USDA. All right, we got two hands still. Have you ever done a home swap? Home swap.
Wow. I did. I did.
In Vegas?
No, here.
All right, I got something for you, Fiona. Did you see the hands go down? So these are all transactions that I have done many, many times over the years. So I know everybody's like getting nervous about this change in the market, what's going on with rates, all of that stuff. Okay. You see how calm I am? Yeah, it's going to be okay. But I want to mention something because I have gotten a couple of calls on this lately, and that is seller finance. So if you have something that you've not seen before, or you've not seen a lot of, we are your resource. Okay, for seller financing, private financing, where mom and daddy, or, Uncle Ed's giving a loan to the buyers, and we need loan docs prepared, and we handle all of that for you. If you have a seller financing, this is a situation where the sellers that they own the home outright, right? And the buyer can't get conventional financing. And then the seller's gonna give them a loan. So we'll prepare all the documents for that, handle all the title insurance, and everything. That's what we're here for. So over the next little while, we're really gonna be drilling down on your contracts and helping you because they've been pretty clean. You know, and it was heavy, you know, sellers were, you're not asking for closing costs, you're not asking for anything out of the ordinary, cut and dried. But now is the time to really work on those contracts, work on those deals. So if you're seeing something that you're not familiar with what it is, how it works, need some help, you know, writing a stipulation, please reach out to me, call me, email me. Yes, ma'am.
Can you help us with wraps?
I can help you with wraps. That's a whole other
Right. But you can?
the discussion. In certain circumstances, yes. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
I had every one of those, by the way. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. Can you click on there for the boss? For some reason, you know what, Raven? It really helps when you have the on button on. It helps.
Yeah.
Have we had a coffee today? 6 o'clock this morning. I think I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. All right. Upcoming events, you guys, we're not going to go over these. They're in your calendar. I am so excited FMLS classes are back. How about you guys? It was a packed house. How many of you are enjoying the masterminds Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Right? If you're not on the masterminds, get on the masterminds because it's a mastermind and you learn all kinds of stuff. So Conquering Social Media with Westland this Thursday, and our FJ is going to be in the house Thursday, 1 to 3, cracking the whip, helping you stay out of real estate jail. She is such, I joke around with her, but this woman knows her stuff. So if you want to know how to write contracts, that's bulletproof, please be in this. It's going to be amazing. Okay, ready. Tools to help you do more business. You guys, all of these are links. Guys, right now, with the interest rate the way that it is, these are your solutions. When we have a problem, and you're talking with that buyer who only wants to list for 30 days, who only wants to list for 45 days, you're speaking with that buyer or that seller that only wants to list that way, or the seller that won't sell their home because they don't have anywhere else to go. These are your tools. These are your solutions. And even if it doesn't pan out to be the solution, did it get you at the kitchen table, Pandora? If you could present it, if you could say to that seller, Dan, that you are prepared to be able to bring an offer, a cash offer to that, you have investors that you do that with. And those of you who don't have investors, you do now with Keller Offers. Will they go with that? Less than 1% do, but it gets you at the kitchen table. Right? Okay. Enough of that. That's in your deck slides for this afternoon. Market update. Today, I told you we were going to go deep dive. So we've got Shalina and Melinda that's going to come up in a few minutes, and we're going to, and Shalina and Melinda will actually be able to speak to some of this stuff in their presentation because they've been through it, right? They are buyer's agents on an MREA team. So let's talk about it. 1,391 homes hit the market this week, 902 pending, 1,562. This isn't anything different, is it? We've been seeing it like this for the last three weeks. This isn't anything different. I do like to see that we've got a little bit more closings, but we're heading toward the end of the week, end of the month, right? Right? So I'd love to see this a little bit higher. I would certainly love to see this a little bit higher. Anybody else? Yeah. So this was a little alarming this morning. You get this in your inbox every day. So it was a little alarming this morning at 6.87% interest rate. And that's if you have stellar credit. What happens if you don't have, it's less than stellar, right? Is the interest rate higher? Yeah, it is. So, guys, we're seeing about across the board, about a 30% price reduction on everything right now. We're seeing about a 30% price reduction. Is that alarming to you?
If you're selling, yes.
Ann said, yeah, if you're selling, buyers are like, yes, buyers agents are like, yes. So is it all, okay, let me ask you this. Is that abnormal? Historically, is that abnormal? No, all of the oldies but goodies in the room were going, yeah, no, that's, that. You know what? A normal market is 30% price reduction. We just haven't been in a normal market for the last 2 years.
But is it normal for the season, normal for?
Normal overall, annualized. That's normal in the, in the industry, about a 30% price reduction across the board on an annual basis, right? So that's kind of normal. So, yeah,
You're saying 30% of the properties are having price reductions.
yes,
Right.
not 30%. 30% of the properties listed are doing price reduction. Oh, yeah, we're dropping our price 30%. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, 30%, yeah, no, although back in the day, I wrote offers for a whole lot less and in the foreclosure days, 30% off, 20% off, maybe you land at 20% or 15% off, right? Back in the day, yes, 30% of all listings. All right, so what does this say, what does this say? Well, nothing has changed here. We're still median 2 months of inventory, right? For detached, 1.7 for attached. Median sales price detached homes is 440. Anybody remember what they were last month? 468. So you see the price reductions. It's less than a 1% price reduction. Perspectives, everything. So distressed sales, 0.07 or 0.7, interest rate, 6.875. That's average, right? That's what is happening right now. If you don't have stellar credit, if you have stellar credit, it's around that. If you don't, it's a little higher. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. All right. So what determines house prices?
Supply and demand.
Do mortgage rates, do they dictate home prices?
No.
Say that again.
No.
That's right. So should we be freaking out right now? No. It will be one of the factors that help the buyer's persuasion, right? It's a different thing to persuade somebody and influence, right? It's not necessarily a factor historically in the market, right? Different, right? So yes, lower interest rates gets the buyers off the fence, and hopefully if there's enough inventory, they buy, right?
And it affects their buying power, so as it rises, you're going to be able to afford that.
Right, and so then it becomes sort of a byproduct and not the driver of prices, right? It's the problem you have to solve, but it doesn't necessarily historically drive the prices. Only 2 times in the last 30 years has interest rates been the primary factor in decreasing inventory. 2 times. Wow. So here are some factors that determine housing prices. The number one, supply and demand. Some of you may have heard this before. So I lived in Vegas for 24 years. When a big conference would come in, all the major hotels would sell out. And of course, all the prices went up too. Well, guess what else sold out? All of the motels that you typically wouldn't stay in. Crystal knows this. Those motels that rent by the hour.
Nice.
Okay. If you're there for a conference, free Airbnb, free Vrbo, and that's all you've got is to stay at a motel, that guess what, when the rates used to just be $50 for the night, not the hour, but $50 for the night. Now, all of a sudden, because the conference is in and all of the major hotel rooms are sold out, now all of a sudden Fleabag Motel is charging $150 per night. How about that? Fine.
Columbia, South Carolina, the Georgia game,
Yeah.
the room that we normally get downtown, $225 a night went to $600 a night.
And they were getting it.
And they were getting,
Why do we think the housing industry should be different? It isn't. It isn't, right? Okay, so, and the other factor is, do people have jobs and money to pay for housing? Well, guess what? Unemployment's doing pretty good right now. We were taken in the pandemic. Lending guidelines, are the current loans based on solid financials or pipe dreams? Oh, yes, I make $400,000, so I can buy this $800,000 in their server. That maybe if they're lucky with tips, they might make 75 to 100,000. Can they afford the $800,000 house? But the stated income loan, liar's loans, as they call them, is today's lending requirements better than what they were? Yes, so that's a positive thing. Population change, is the population increasing or decreasing?
We're adding 150, estimated 150,000 new household formation. And a household formation is not what you think. It's not I sold this house and moved into another. It's I got divorced from you. You gotta get out and get another house, for instance. So good news, 150,000 estimated.
In Atlanta or US? Okay, interesting, right? That's nice. New construction, are enough new houses being built for demand?
No.
Have they been behind for about 12 years now?
I was gonna say they were behind way before all this started.
Yeah, so what does that do? That means that you've got to go to the sellers that own the homes now and get them to jump off the fence and list their house instead of just driving to the new construction and selling the lot. Because there aren't enough lots and there aren't enough new homes, right? Right? It'd be so much easier if it was. Prices and affordability. Are prices too high for most people to buy?
Yes. Depending on areas. For most.
Affordability is going to be an issue moving forward if interest rates continue, right? But we are still in the most prosperous time in the US history. We make more today than we ever have. How about that? Wow. Right? Now, Atlanta is still way below the metro markets. So these are the factors I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we dive into the stats, because perspective is everything. Right? It's everything. Are we about to go off a cliff, Kathy?
Yes.
No. She runs out the door. It's a good thing I recognize that voice. Okay, so statistics overview. Let's go. We're going to start off locally here first. So I don't know if you guys know, but all of you have this report available to you. Do you know where to get it?
FMLS.
Yeah, where in FMLS? I'm so glad you recognize that. I've some smart people in this room. Wow. Where do we get it?
Under my
Hello. Go into FMLS, go into Matrix, click statistics or reports, and voila. Okay, so there were 60, just under 7,000 closings for detached in August 2022. That's a decrease of 21% over 2021. Incidentally, the same thing for single family attached. Average sales price for single family was $454 for August versus $403,000. The average sales price for residential family attached, $367 versus $324. We're still doing good. Year-to-date sales and average price overview. There were 58,239 homes year-to-date by the end of August that sold. It's not bad. Still have 7 million people. It's not bad. There were 11,670 closings for attached. So both of those showed a decrease in sales from last year to this year.
look at that attached, 15%.
Yeah. Yeah. Residential detached average sales price $455 versus $397. All right, so active inventory, total active listings in August 2022 were 20,858.
4,000 more.
Right? 4,000 more than the month before, and 4,000 more from the month before. I like this trend. Okay. There were 11,923 new listings entered for all property types in August 22 versus 13 new listings entered in 2021. So we're still down on inventory. Is this going to change anytime soon? No. So do we all just give up and go home? No, right? As my coach reminded me this morning at 9 o'clock, he said, if the quarterback gets taken out on the team, does the game go on? Yes. You just put a different quarterback in there and you run a different play. Or maybe you run the same plays, but you're gonna run it differently. You've got a different person calling the shots. The coaches still may run a different play because you have a different coach in there, that's all. Or a different player in there, that's all. The game goes on. We go on, right? So it's not doom and gloom. Okay, here we go. Appreciation is slowing, not depreciation. What is depreciation, you guys? It's when you lose your value. If your value is already up and it just drops down a little bit, is that going off a cliff? No. So it is slowing. It is not depreciating. Right? Depreciating is you really are losing your value. This is just you're slowing down. Now that's through the end of July. All right, so CoreLogic that we get that MLS feeds into, all the MLSs feed into CoreLogic. Now this is by the end of August. I'm really curious to get this report in about 2 weeks because they're saying a more balanced housing market with year-over-year appreciation slowing to 3.8% by 2023. What do you guys think?
For our area, I think that's low.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I mean, what's the average year over year? What is the 30-year average for appreciation? What is it?
5 to 7.
4%. 3.8, 4%. Okay. Many experts raise home price forecasts. Now, here's what you guys, it's always a moving target. Look what they said in January. That the home prices are going to appreciate by 7.6%. And then all of a sudden Fannie Mae says, oh, no. We're saying 16%. Wow. You see, even the experts, they're just predicting, right? 12.8 Freddie Mac, NAR says 11.5, MBA 9.9%. Time will tell. These are simply forecasts. Let's look at the historical median prices. Historical. What's happened? What has happened? And I wish I could make this a little bit bigger. If y'all need to get up here, you're more than welcome to. It goes all the way from 1965 all the way over here to 2022. We just what's the message here? That's it.
Never selling your real estate.
Never selling real estate. That's the message, right? Is real estate the most fantastic way to gain to build wealth?
Yeah. So
Historically, is this a no-brainer?
yes. Robin, are those gray bars recessions?
Yes.
So I asked someone this the other day and helped me understand. I thought the only time housing prices went down was during the 08 period. What's the other period?
1980 and 1992. Oil prices?
So we can see that on that graph right
Yeah.
there.
You can. Yeah. 1970s. That was oil prices.
Yeah, because in the 70s, it barely looks like it went down, but I can see in the 80s or between 80 and 95, there was a slight dip, but not really.
And there's always going to be a lag.
But not really. When you look at that graph there, I mean,
Right.
it's just a slight dip, but the trajectory is up until,
It always is. And you see this slight little dip, look, you got 5 years right here.
I mean, it's so it's such an infinitesimal change that I would still just say only during 08, the housing prices
Well,
went down.
And that was a crisis, right? That was
And that
the
was
great,
driven-
that
that
was
was
the
driven
great
by
financial,
interest rates.
that's exactly right.
And that's the only period that
That's
real
right.
estate hasn't been the best.
That's correct.
And it wasn't driven by the economy, it was driven by the banking industry.
That's right.
And that's
Not the economy, and how.
mortgages.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just a lot of bad collusion, right? Just a lot of bad collusion. All right, so number of homes sold. All right, so 2005, again, 2005, look at what happened. We had all of the subprime loans. We had all of the crazy things, stated liar loans, stated income, blah, blah, blah. You had all of this happening here. And then boom, 2008 hits. And it takes us about 9 years to start climbing out of that. Okay, and then 2013, we just consistently go. Now, this is what's interesting. Remember those projections over here? So last year we sold 6.1 million homes, 5.64 the year before, and 5.34 in 2019. But wait, aren't we in the big shortage? But we sold more homes. What are you hearing me say? Top hat on, please, and say it again. All right. I love that. He came walking in with 2 hours of sleep with a top hat on. So, okay, now, any idea how many homes have sold year to date this year? Around 3 million. That's right. Through August 2022, somewhere around 3 million. Somewhere around 3 million. Where are we gonna land? Okay, I averaged all of this out. These are the rates since 2000, the beginning of 2022, according to Freddie Mac. Now, I don't know what they're saying about 4.99 in August, because today, right? So I averaged all of that out for the year, and it was 6.25. If we were to annualize that. Bank prime loan rate changes, historical dates. Again, speaking to your blip, right? So guys, historically, since about 1995, 2005 was the weird one. I mean, guys, look. We're still less than, this is where the spike was. We're okay. That's what I'm telling you, is we are okay. What about year over year rental prices? Because why does it matter? Why does this matter? Melinda, why does it matter that, that we have low inventory and interest rates are up and you're talking with a renter?
Because it's still a good time, it's a better time to buy than it is to rent. You're
Rent, you're paying 100% rate.
Yeah. In addition to that, this time, unlike any other time, landlords are off the chain. They're, instead of doing incremental changes, they're doing changes from anywhere from $500 to $700.
They're institutional, they're not.
That's right.
And they've never had to do, they've never done that before. So this is new.
It is.
And people are getting in trouble.
But look, rental prices continue to rise 20%,
There it is.
20% nationally.
Do you have a historical with what they've been rising versus?
Yes, if you'll go to this website, it'll be sent out. It gives you the whole, and it breaks it down in that city by city. I think you'll like that. Yeah, so go to that and you'll see that.
Where can we find that, Robin?
Right here on the bottom of the deck slides. It'll be sent out when Raven sends it out. Here's your source for this. Mhm. Okay, all right. So is it still a good time to buy?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Because this is the housing. This is the 2 charts you've seen just overlaid. Housing prices continue to rise, interest rates So what do we say, Kathy? We,
Marry the house, we date the rate.
Yes.
We marry the house. And we're just dating the rate. You don't have to keep the rate. If you find your home that you love and you're loyal, stay with that house.
Kathy, after we close, we can refinance it as soon as when.
You can actually refinance within 4 months
There you go.
off of the
Okay.
value of that.
so. All right, so, here's the bottom line, and then Kathy, I want Kathy to come up and talk about some solutions. Here's the bottom line. It's been 40 years since rates have risen like this alongside similar home price growth. This time around, it's the shortage. That's all it is. It's the shortage, right? And then rates and home prices could well continue rising together for another reason, a number of reasons tied to high inflation. We've already seen rents are soaring now. That means the alternative to buying isn't particularly appealing either, because your client's gonna lose money and the guaranteed rate's going up, right? Guaranteed prices are going up. So the bottom line, get your buyers into the house, marry the rate, marry the house, marry the house and not the rate.
Marry the home.
Marry the home. All right, you want to tell us what this is and come on up and let's talk about some solutions.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get is just the Christmas newsletter that I read. It's just information you can read. Kind of tells you a little bit more informative when you're talking about the rates, on why they're changing and what they're going up to and what it's related to. I'm not gonna read through it, but you will have it and read it. And then the next one is the same thing, you know, just talking about the Fed rate and why it's been increasing. It's all on here. Okay, it's all there. But anyway, it's all there. So knowledge is powerful, and explaining why we're seeing what we are and why we're in this market. I was actually trying to do a 2-1 buy down scenario. They shut rate down and they're changing again. So this is what lenders are seeing every day. You're working and you're talking to a client and shut down, you can't lock the rate, rates are changing up or down. And the market, as the market moves every day, the lender's pricing will move also. So to your buyers, as soon as you know verbally that that contract is done, even if you don't have it fully executed, but it's on the way, they can call their lender, give the address, give the sales price and lock the rate in right then. Push the button, lock it in, contract can come in later. And I am begging you to do that for your buyers. We're going to be verbal. We're good. Call the lender now. Get the rate locked in. Get that negotiated. This is going to be the sales price. This is going to be closing date. That's all the lender needs to know right now.
Does it cost them anything?
Nope.
What happens
And
if
if
the
it-
deal
if-
unwinds?
If it's just withdrawn, if it doesn't work through, if it's the contract doesn't fall, you know, if it falls out, there's no lock fee, they just withdraw the loan and start all over. The rate is attached to, the lock-in is attached to the person's name, social security number, the address and sales price of the house. So you can lock in even before it's fully negotiated. Let's say it's, you know, on a Saturday and you're negotiating all weekend, you're probably not going to get an answer on Monday. The lender can go ahead and lock it in and then just withdraw it Monday afternoon if it doesn't work out.
But if
Right now in
the-
this market, I would suggest that.
But if the rates drop?
So here's the all financial institution, right? But you're going to put the rate down in there, right? Here's we never even thought about using that as a reason for, so I put 6% down, the rate that went up 7%, for example. Can I terminate the contract and give her income tax?
If they can't lock into that rate.
If I can't lock in the state, right? So that's something that we just.
But also,
How we-
the seller can take you to the correct thing.
Okay, let's hear about this. Go ahead.
So if you are the buyer, you have 6.25
Right.
and it's going binding on the finance, contingency. Yeah, the FHA convention, whatever, on that part. And then the seller perhaps, when you go under contract, and the buyer's going through all the stuff, inspection, blah, 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 but the seller finds out that there's another buyer that possibly needs more money. And
the agent, the listing agent knows her stuff and picks up the phone and speaks to, because she's allowed to, speaks to the buyer's lender, and the buyer's lender says, oh, I'm so glad you called, because the rate just went up to 6.75 today. The listing agent can keep her mouth shut, and she can terminate, unless, of course, you know, the buyer's agent brings a new one, because the terms of the agreement now have changed.
Okay.
But not if they walk in. Well, I'm not talking about some okay.
So
That's why I'm backing up what she's saying. We need to walk in. I've also got to say,
So the listing agent, if they're savvy, and they, oh, also I got a cash buyer now,
right, I can give you more money.
or
Yeah.
more money for the home.
Right.
Right, now,
And
as a
I-
listing agent, I can go back, oh, look, oh, now I can,
Because the terms of the agreement,
right,
and they didn't lock in,
right,
but I checked with Kathy.
right.
I'm a good listing agent. I called the buyer.
Kathy's a good loan officer and isn't gonna answer your question and talk. The buyer's agent and the buyer and say, I need to talk like right now.
Well, we gotta think about the other wrinkles that we haven't thought about for years.
Yeah.
That's
Right, we gotta think about how this is gonna affect us.
Well, it's also qualification. You need to know your buyer. Are they qualified maxing out at the interest rate right now? You need to know what that payment, HOA, principal and interest, tax insurance. I did consultation from 7:30 yesterday till 7 last night, catching up with people, talking to agents, talking to buyers. You know, what is your buying power now at where we are? And what is the payment? You know, townhome, you know, HOA versus sell price versus Gwinnett, Fulton, Cobb taxes. You know, if it's a close one, you really need to know what the buying power is now.
Answer that to your question. What I have seen this past summer, listing agents, because the rates were going up, so you put 6% on the financing, forget FHA, just conventional. If the listing agent is smart, you're putting a special stip in there that everybody's aware that if the buyer has to be able to be approved or qualify up to whatever percent you.
Well, us as listing agents, we need to get, when we look at the contract, we look at that rate.
Right.
That rate says
As a listing
5%.
agent, you can negotiate reverse on that rate too. that has to be
That
on.
rate says 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of new listing agents, they don't know. They're just excited about page one of the purchase and sale. You've got to do your due diligence for your client. You've got to read that first page. And if it does say to your point, 5.75, because let's face it, you know, looking for houses
2 months. yeah.
2 months, and then when I'm using Kathy the same,
Right.
if they haven't upped that, you're not really, the buyer's agent really, it's your fault. You gotta look after the clients, but also I will say, unless you've spoken to Kathy, you really shouldn't be putting people in your car unless you've got them approved.
Yeah,
I don't care who you think you are right
And
now.
re-approve.
I would say
Right,
everybody-
absolutely.
Before the week.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I gotta get an updated letter.
I don't think it's still $4,000 to $5,000.
So as a
And that's what we're
listing
gonna talk about. That's what we're gonna, Melinda and Shalina are gonna talk about that in just a minute, about the power of that. So tell about what you told us about the guy buying the points down.
Okay, so a consultation, a true consultation from the lender has to be done now. You have to know the triggers of that buyer. You have to know what's important to them. It's not the rate, y'all, it's the payment. It's what they're exposed to. So I had a gentleman sold their house 6 months ago. Fortunately, buying now, didn't buy 6 months ago. So he's, you know, one as a seller, now the buyer. A little bit upset about the rate. He was an actuary, so he's in the numbers. And so we started playing numbers and he said, I've got 20% down, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, why are you doing that? Shut up, let him talk to see where he's coming from. I said, you got a lot of credit card debt. Let's get rid of that. That's gonna lower your payment $800 a month. It's all gonna be gone at a much higher interest rate, but 10% down on the mortgage. Your PMI is only 108 a month. It can go away in 2 years for appreciation. Now you're buying the house that you had wanted to buy at the interest rates at 3% versus now at 6.99, and all your consumer debt is gone. And for a second, he was quiet, as he was absorbing it. And I said, why would you keep all that credit card debt? Let's get rid of it. Now let's get rid of it. And he said, you know what? 100% done, paying it off today. So it kept him in a 600 price range and a payment that he's comfortable with because his credit card debt is going to be gone. So again, it's a consultation. And then we did talk about a buy down. So let's talk about a buy down because everybody's so confused. And there's many ways to
Why
buy
don't you
down.
guys come on up too while she's doing that?
Many ways to buy down. So a permanent buy down is you've got an interest rate. Let's say the interest rate is 6.99 today with no point.
This is where y'all need to be taking notes. This is
Yeah.
how you explain it to your clients.
So every buyer's lender, the rates are different, every lender, the buy downs are different, you know, it's just like the rates are different. What they charge for the buy down is different. And what I wasn't here last week, but I had them flash up. If you take a $600,000 house and the seller pays $4,800, because on a $600,000 house, 20% down, they're gonna borrow $480. So the seller pays 1% of the loan amount versus lowering the sales price. And this is one scenario for a permanent buy down. It's 6.99. The principal and interest is this. At 6.5, which was this morning, I don't know what it is now. The principal and interest, the buy down rate, right, is this. The savings versus lowering the rate, lowering the sales price, they're only gonna save $53 a month. So what is this? You know, savings over a year, keep the house 7 years, do the math. They're gonna save net $9,000 if they keep the house 7 years, and they're not paying for the buy down. Should they think about paying the buy down if they're renting? Yes. It's 100% interest rate when you're renting. So if they're renting right now, I'm seeing an average of 2,000. They don't buy or they give up right now and say, I'm gonna wait 6 months. How much money did they throw away? Let me take that $12,000 and get your rate even lower permanently. Quit renting. Let's go find a house, a home. I keep saying house, home. Let's go find a home. Let's take that $12,000 that you're about to throw away out the window, you know, for the apartment or the house. And let's use it towards your permanent buy down of the home that you really want, that you're in love with. And then next year, if, and some indications are we may go below 5 again next year, let's then look at a no cash refinance. You know, we'll watch it together.
Now, who knows that you can take closing costs? Kathy, if I am a buyer's agent and I ask the seller's agent for closing costs, hey, can we use some of that money, if not all of it, to buy that down? Yes, we can.
Let's negotiate getting them the rate and the payment versus lower sale price and educate the buyers for the difference. Let's use the
Consultation
money,
with the lender.
use the
How's
money
that?
wisely. A lot of people are talking about the 2-1 buy down. This is a permanent buy down. The rate is this for the life of the loan. So they're winning. And we do that calculation with them. If you personally, if the seller's not paying it and you're paying it, what's the difference in a payment and when do you win? When do you actually recoup your buy down costs and start getting that true saving? So you can always buy down points on a rate. It's not new. It's not, you know, it's either points or not. Watch your APR and what people are quoting, and then you'll know if they're buying down points or not. The 2-1 buy down, it's a buy down that only the seller can pay for. It's expensive, usually 2.5 points to truly get it down. And what happens is,
Translate that into funds, $400,000 loan amount, 2 points. How much is
you're
it?
gonna be in $10,000 in points. So your seller's spending 10,000, the rate, you know, and unfortunately I couldn't pull it, you know, you're gonna get still a higher rate than market rate today. So instead of 6.99 in 3 years, you might end up with 7.25, but you're gonna start at 5.25. First year, 6.25 next year, 7.25. The only reason I would ever suggest a 2-1 buy down is if they're short term in the house or if they're in a position, brand new doctor, knows the income's gonna go up, knows that they'll probably refinance and or get out of the house and escalate to the next house. It's not that fixed income buyer that you'd ever want to do that to. The 5-year arms are gonna be, I think Kern just closed a 5 or 7-year arm in the 5s. Yeah, they can be bought down too. Be very, very careful. You know, we just talked about a scenario this morning. If you're got a 5-year arm or 7-year, you start getting in that 4th year, you're gonna start getting nervous if the rate can't go down. You haven't refinanced yet. Because you're gonna have to do something with that. So never get that first time home buyer fixed income in an arm, you know, just make sure they're aware of what the worst case scenario is.
All right, so bottom line, you guys, I'm gonna let you answer that, ask that, Corey. Bottom line, you guys, is this. Right now, more than ever, you've got to partner with your lender more than ever. And it's okay, those of you who are new in the business and you think, oh man, should I be getting that much into somebody's business? Yes. Yes, you should, when you are partnering with a good lender that you can direct them to. Otherwise, you're gonna be wasting your time because you didn't get them pre-approved, like FJ said, and you put them in your car going, ooh, I got a buyer, right? So I want to be respectful for Melinda and Shalina. So ask your question, Corey, what's up?
So the talking point of you date the rate by the house or the home. When I think of the 30-year average rate of 7.2, those are kind of in conflict. So, you know, because we're where we are right now and buyers apprehensiveness. So, you know, if they're going to date the rate now at 6.8 and the average is 6 or 7.2, how do we know that, you know, that things are actually going to go down? We don't.
Well, although I want to just say, remember the historical data. See those blips are what threw that average out. Those blips that went up to 10 and 14%, right? Those blips are what threw that out. When you look at the last 10 years, it hasn't even been close to that.
And as a good realtor and a good lender, you'll say there's no guarantee it's gonna go down.
That's right.
Are you good? Do you love this house and want to marry it? And are you okay if you have to stay at this rate long term?
Because
Are you good with this payment? Because no one has, I mean, goodness, I would have retired 10, 20 years ago if I had that much of a crystal ball that, you know. But yeah, it's in being informative and never guaranteeing, y'all. You know, there's no way you can guarantee that the rates will be below 5 next year. That's just the indication right now. And that opinion can change.
And Kathy, did homes still sell at 10% interest?
Everybody, I started
14%?
in
Yeah.
1983. 1983, I was doing 18% fixed rates. My first mortgage was a 14% 1-year arm with no caps. People still were buying.
Yes.
It's all mindset, and we've got to get our mindset straight to help them buy their home and know it is what it is.
That's right. All right, give Kathy a big old hand. Thank you. All right, Sabrina, Melinda, you guys come on up.
That's amazing rate.
Yeah, I know. We were walking in on, right? It's on.
I won't even try to.
It's my mom's 90th birthday, my brother's visiting him, and I'm about to go.
Thank you, Kathy.
I thought you were gonna give us a dance too, Kat.
You want me to play? What do I click? The top thing? The very top?
That would be good.
Arrow, yep, arrow to the right.
Yep.
Cool. Well, this is us.
Hi, everyone. How y'all doing today? You guys, Shalina and Melinda are on the current team. That is what we call Millionaire Real Estate Agent Team. And these ladies work their little behinds off. And they represent their clients really, really well. And they have discovered that there are some common pitfalls that we all can experience. So we're going to give it up for Shalina.
Well, I wanted to say, we're all hardworking in here, and these are just a handful that we've come up with over the last couple of years. The market shifted a little bit, so that some of this might need to be updated a bit, but if you have any
pitfalls yourself, please share with us and we'll add it to the next presentation because they are universal, like Robin said. And we all can learn. I mean, that's the one thing about not failure, but a mistake is you learn from it. And hopefully we can share a few that you guys can learn from. And even if you just get one in the back of your head for the future, hopefully it'll save you some time.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to start or you want me to?
You can start on
Okay, number one, making a client or prospect a priority when they treat you like an option. That kind of just goes to what Kathy was saying. If you don't know your buyers, right? If you don't know what their real, balance sheet is and budget is, then you're just wasting your time. And especially in this last market that we've come off of, this unprecedented market, everyone wants that new home, but maybe they can't afford it. So you can still be polite and nice, but dig deep with questions so that you aren't wasting your time. You're a professional. This is your career and you're not doing this as a hobby, hopefully. So our solution for that, and it comes for listing too, a lot of this stuff will be tiered a little bit towards buyers agents because that's what we do on our team. But even if you're listing, people, I want to sell my house because I want to get more than my neighbor got. Well, that's not realistic today. And the market shifted a tad in the last few months. So make sure you know their trigger points and make sure you know what their motivation is. But our solution for treating a client the way they are treating you is really just go down your list. Are they an A buyer? Are they really motivated? People this is how I do it. If you have a life circumstance, a change, if you're relocating here, if you're a first-time home buyer and I know your lease is up in 3 months, you're probably pretty motivated. So those are my A buyers. We've had long conversations. I'm talking to both the husband and wife or the partners, if you will, not just one, but both of them. These are people who need to do something in the near future. I say 3 months. If you're a B buyer and I've been showing you houses and I found the perfect one 3 times and you still won't pull the trigger, or maybe we've gone under contract 3 or 4 times and there's always something at the very end and you terminate, then you're on my C team now, or I may not even talk to you anymore. You have to go through this enough. We have Sherry on our team who's finally got due diligence on the 4th contract with her clients. So how do you want to spend your time? And I think it's fine to tell clients, maybe you're just not ready.
that sometimes will get them actually to pull the trigger. I've had it happen several times where you have the honest, that conversation, you set them up at the beginning that you're going to have difficult conversations. And sometimes they aren't ready. And sometimes they'll say, give us some time. And then a week later, or a couple of days later, they're ready.
Yeah, it's like a relationship. Maybe you're just not ready. And as soon as I walk out the door, you really want me. Yes, ma'am.
So you have that conversation with them, explaining to them those categories, just so they have an idea of your time, the time that you have available. I've heard an agent actually do that just recently.
Some people do, absolutely. I haven't specifically.
How do you address that to clients? When they want a service and you're not available?
Well, I asked why. You aren't pre-approved yet, so we're not going out to see homes until you are. Or I'm not free this weekend. I'll have a showing agent show you. I'm not spending my time unless you're ready.
That's a great segue into this next one. I'm going to stand up.
I'm sorry, you had a question. Feel better to stand.
Yeah, I like standing.
Yeah.
There's a map, script that goes along with this. You ask them why you would need to see. Get all my A clients sign a buyer broker agreement. So that's how you get them to sign.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be, A, B, or C? Everybody can say, I'm a C.
Exactly.
Right? Or somebody might be, honestly, it's like, well, I'm a B because I'm really not that's serious, we're just trying to figure things out. And now you know. Now you know what's going on. You can just use that script while you're getting the sign.
And it's okay to be a B or a C. I'm not gonna not work with you. I'm just not, I'm not jumping when you call me if you're a C. We can get to you in a few weeks, if you will.
There you go.
Sure.
Sorry? How long does it take you to answer the text?
Oh, we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, I don't respond quickly.
Yeah, y'all gotta let him get through.
Yeah, that day, I probably would respond, but I'm not jumping. And again, the market's changed a little bit. So whereas we had to get out on Friday and get an offer in by Saturday morning and pray that we got it by noon, we can breathe and look at more houses now.
So if y'all don't mind, if we can go through a few more slides and then we'll kind of ask if you have some questions, just so we can get through everything. All right, not asking enough questions in listings or buying console. You have to ask why. And I learned this the hard way where I had an A buyer. They were cash. They went anywhere from $1 million to 200,000. They were all over the board. Exactly.
Wow.
They were all over the board. And I finally had to get on the phone with Aubrey and I said, help Aubrey, because I have been running all over the place. We had gotten under contract 4 different contracts. We won them all. They will walk away from me. And so Aubrey said, what's their why? And you have to ask. And he said, you got to do it 3 times. So theirs were a husband was having health issues. Well, why is that important that you're moving from your house? We want to be close to our son. Why do you want to be close to your son? Well, because if something's going on health-wise, he'll be able to get over there in 20 minutes instead of the hour that they are now. And I kept saying why until there was no more, they couldn't answer anymore. It was like, okay, I'm giving you everything because you have to really drill down on their why. And that will later come along and you will be able to figure out, well, why are you walking away from this perfect house? And you'll be able to list those things. So make sure that you're asking and drilling down on all those questions until they can't answer anymore.
And sometimes they don't know.
Right.
You're asking those questions, they may not have even thought about it. Yeah.
And now they do know.
Yeah. Not being specific on expectations during the consultation. Oh, gosh, expectations. That's really what our whole business is about. What do your clients expect from you? But also, what do you expect from them? It's a two-way street. It's a relationship in my mind. And I'm going to be spending a lot of time with you and I'm going to know a lot of your business. So we have to trust each other. And I have expectations of you. If you text me at 3 a.m. because you're up looking at houses, I am not going to be, speaking to you. I mean, I'll catch you at 8 a.m. My notifications are off and but expectations are, I have to always tell people, what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what I'm going to do for you. Then I do it. And then I tell them what I just did. So back to that 3-step process. It's an old speakers, if you do any public speaking, it's an old speakers, technique, but you tell them what's going to happen, that happens, and then you tell them it happened. So you just keep those expectations and that conversation flowing. It kind of also goes back to, remember when we talked about, remember when I said, remember when I told you we need to get an offer in now because there's 2 others, we need to do that now. And then they'll always either nod their head or go, yeah, you were right. So, or back to what our last point was, remember when you said you wanted to move to near your son's house? Is that still your motivation? So it puts the onus back on the client. Remember why you said you wanted to list your house? Your husband can't get up and down the stairs. Is that still true? Does that still matter?
Or do you want this 3-story house upstairs?
So crystal clear, right? Old law, clarity is power.
We thought we'd throw a little something funny in there, because this is how buyers enter the house, that they actually are in their budget. When you don't ask those questions, right? When the expectations are not lining up with what they want. Be aware if someone is your crush or your cringe. When I seen this, it was so funny because I've had that where I have looked at the phone, a client is calling, and you're just like, defeated. Nobody wants to be defeated. And you're just looking like, oh, you don't want to answer it. Everyone is not meant to be a client of yours, right? Everyone is not. You really have to, when I do a buyer's consult with people, I say, look, we are really interviewing each other, because just as well as you're seeing if you want to work with me, I am also seeing if I'm a good match for you. You know, not that I don't want to help everyone, but sometimes your personalities are just not a good match, right? And I've had that where I've looked at the phone. I want to be excited when my client calls. I want to be like, yes, they have found a house, or we're about to put in an offer. There's some people that didn't work. And what's funny is members of my team pretty early on to say, you know, I don't think this client is a match. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with it. 2 months later, a whole lot of gas and a whole lot of this client going off of me. I was like, you know, you're right. We are not a good match. And unfortunately, I had to sever that partnership with that client. But you have to realize that. And the quicker you realize that, the better, because it seems like sometimes the people that you bend over backwards for are the ones that are going to be the most problematic, and they might walk away and they might get the next agent and they look at the first house and get it, but it was something about you guys that just didn't mesh well.
And you can always refer them. Again, if they're a real pain in the butt, maybe you don't want to do that, but you could refer that to another agent that you think might be a better fit, and let them know the situation. And then you're still making a little on the referral, and the client gets service,
Right.
and it's a win-win. But if you're going to refer anyone to me, please give me a heads up, or to us. Give me a heads up so we know what we're getting into. Next one, not having proper boundaries. This is so hard, no matter what market we're in, because we're all people pleasers at the end of the day, or we wouldn't be good at our job, right? We want to help people. And my boundaries are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can text me anytime, call me anytime. That's when I typically work with clients. So I'm not going to text you before 8. I'm not a brain surgeon. If I don't talk to you at 9 o'clock at night, unless we're negotiating, but I put in my contracts that the day ends at 7 p.m.
Oh, wait, say that again?
So I put a stip in all of my contracts that there's a quick little blurb on it that 7 p.m. is when the day ends on my contract. So we're not at 11:55 p.m. negotiating anything. Can't do it. Cannot do it. I've done it before. I won't do it anymore. Again, now we have a little time though in this market, a little time to think and decide and plan, but whatever your parameters are, let your clients know when you're available and what to expect. Find out what the best way to communicate with them is. Some people only want to text, other people only want to talk on the phone exhaustively, just so you know. Even if I've seen a message, I'm not necessarily responding to it. And you don't have to be that quick to jump at all. It's in our nature, I think, to respond quickly, and you don't have to. Take a breath, think about your conversation. So
Stick to those boundaries, because it will get later. So the first time you let them go, like, what did you say, 7?
oh yeah, if you're talking to someone.
If you let them go at 9, if they have texted you and you respond back, guess what the next time will be? 12. I've had a client call me at 11 and 12 at night. And it was not an offer on the table. They just wanted to tell me they sent me a house that they really liked. And I'm like, wow, they are calling super late. And they will do that if you are not setting those boundaries. And also the same thing with, like you said, you don't have to respond immediately, because they get used to that. And they're like, oh, they don't have anything to do, you know? And the minute you don't answer right away, or you didn't call back within 20 minutes, it's like, well, what were you doing? I was trying to get some more business is what I was trying to do. So yeah, setting the proper boundaries, not taking time out for yourself and those that you care about. I'm bad at that. So I don't know if I can speak too heavily. This is speaking to the choir, which is just making sure that you set that time. I know there was a class that I took when I first became an agent that said, put your appointments on the calendar, just like you would a showing. You respect it that much. You don't have to tell your client, oh, I'm going to get my hair done, or I'm going to get my nails done, but I have an appointment at 3. So we can see houses at 5, you know, so make sure that you build that into your schedule.
Well, and your appointment could be getting your nails done or being at your kid's game or something like that. Your clients don't need to know that. And if you want them to, that's fine too. But Gary Keller puts his vacations on his calendar before he does anything else. And then he puts planning time every week on his calendar. And then all of his other meetings fit in around that. So I think that's a good, healthy way to do that. Next one, making personal comments about a house before a client has shared their opinion.
Mama Melba would say no.
This is only in here because that's what I tend to do. Oh my gosh, I love the pool. Look at the kitchen, look at that bathroom. Oh, travertine, I hate that peanut butter palette, right? You might love the peanut butter palette and travertine that's tan. So it doesn't matter. I just closed on a house for a cute young couple, first-time home buyers in Dunwoody. Oh my gosh, this house needed so much work. And all they saw was the big family room and the big backyard. And, you know, they are super happy and I'm thrilled for them. But I would not have bought the house. And I did ask, are you okay with this? You know, I didn't point out positives or negatives. I was just like, you know, hot water heater is going to need to be replaced.
Facts,
Pronto.
facts only, yeah.
Right,
Even
so-
if it's gorgeous, I'm like, the quartz cabinets, they just replaced the, bathrooms, but I don't put my opinion on them because they may hate it or they may love it, either way. But you can sway a client by you making those comments, and that's not a good thing. And please, if you're showing for someone else, do not make those comments, because one, you don't have that personal relationship of knowing what they like and what they love, but it can sway them. It really can. You walk into a house, oh, this color is ugly. And they look and say, that's my favorite color. That happened to somebody on our team. They, they were like, this is ugly. That's actually my favorite color. So I love the color. So now you're embarrassed and you're like, well, how do I backtrack out of that?
You can't walk out there.
Yeah, you can't walk it back. You're like, you know what? I wasn't looking close enough. This color, really
Chartreuse is beautiful. Chartreuse.
You gotta study.
Hey,
Like the light wouldn't hit it.
yeah, well, I don't even know what I was thinking. I remember I had a seersucker outfit that. Not having all decision makers at the appointment. Oh my goodness. Please, please, please. If you don't do anything else, make sure that you have a meeting with all decision makers. And do all decision makers have to be on the line? No, they're not necessarily. They don't have to, right. They don't have to be married. It might be a girlfriend. It might be a friend, a cousin, an uncle. But you will find mom or dad. If you're not having that conversation with all decision makers and the person who is influencing the buy or sell, then you may find yourself in the middle of a contract and it might just blow up in your face and you have no idea why. And that person is behind the scene having a conversation, and sometimes they will avoid talking. I know they avoid talking to me, and I will make it a point to figure out a way to get them on the call, right? Like, oh, I would love to know their opinion about what they think is in the top 3 for their house. Or when was the last time your uncle bought a house? Oh, 5 years ago. I would love to get him on a call and kind of have him tell me what his concerns are. Because if they're telling that your buyer or seller, if they're telling that person and not you, it's really you at an unfair advantage. You're not getting to speak to those things. And I've had many deals blow up in my face where, we went under contract and it's like, I'm now walking away from this. I'm like, this is a perfect house. Yeah, but I just don't want it. So tell me, why is it that something has changed? Well, my mom said, and I'm like, I got to get mom. Mom isn't in the state. Mom is nowhere to be around. Mom has evaded being on a phone call, but we need to get mom on a 3-way call. And guess what? The next time I go into a house and the next time I was showing, guess who was on the phone on FaceTime? Mom, how do you like this? Because mom has a big influence in making that purchase or sale. So make sure that you get all decision makers. It's not necessarily the person who's putting the money down.
Yeah. Next one.
when you're on a conference call with your client's entire extended family and the uncle who bought a house 30 years ago is ranting about what he would do in the situation. Yeah, yeah.
That's so true.
Right, the look on, he's like, really, really?
All right, next one, getting discouraged and letting your clients see it. Whether you've shown them 20 houses, or whether you're having a bad day, or whether your dog died, whatever it might be. Yes, you can open up personally to your clients, but I know in the last couple of years, it was discouraging to write 10 offers for a client and lose every one. Whatever the struggle might be, you have to put up that brave face and put on a happy face. You can acknowledge that they might be frustrated, but you're the one to bring that positive energy back and bring them back to center. Whether it's reiterating what their needs are, whether it's talking about current market stats, whether it's talking them off of a ledge, we have to be the positive influence. And I get your morning dose here, if not with Robin Monday, Wednesday, Friday, here every Tuesday. Talk to some other agents, whatever you might need, but we have to have that positive face because there's always uncertainty. There's always problems. There's always going to be the crisis du jour. And we can be that positive influence. So do whatever you need to pump up and be optimistic and provide solutions. Sometimes that, you know, whether it's our negativity or theirs, it comes from lack of knowledge or lack of hope. And when you kind of look at the big picture and get a different perspective, then you have some knowledge that gives you some power.
That's right. And that's where I always take a breather. When a deal or when it's something doesn't work out, I take a breather. I don't call them immediately. Sometimes you'll have the urge, like, I got to tell them right away. Take a moment for yourself, you know, to collect it because we get attached to our clients. We like to say, hey, separate it, but you get attached. So it sometimes hurts my feelings too when my client doesn't get the house that they really, really love and had planned on raising their family in. But when I call them, okay, they didn't accept the offer, but let me tell you, there's 3 other houses that I just found that are within 3 miles of that same location. One of them has the same floor plan, and I really think they're gonna like it. So I provide that solution right away, and I really don't let them simmer it, right? Yeah, it didn't go through, but let's move on and
Let's write a backup offer.
let's write a backup offer. I talked to them and they said, hey, we'll be the first one they'll call if something falls through. So always with that swing of positiveness coming behind it. You want to read this one?
Oh, this one I love, because this I dug into when I was writing 12 to 14 offers for some clients.
What?
An arrow can only be shot by pulling it backwards. So when life is dragging you down with difficulties, it means that it's about to launch you into something great. So focus and keep aiming. So what's the, you know, no pressure, no diamonds from gold. Yeah, there's no pressure on that coal, there's no diamonds. So easier said than done when you're in the weeds, but if you can think about that.
We're almost finished.
Are you gonna share these?
Yes.
Yeah,
They'll be
what it
attached.
tastes like.
Making clients our friends. Look, here's the solution. Remember, clients are clients until closing, then they can be your friends, but keep it professional. Why? Because friends like to blur the lines and then they'll start to cross the lines on things, right? So that's just simply put, in my opinion.
And even when you're doing business with your current friends, you have to almost have that professional at arm's length, right? Because a lot can happen. This is an emotional business for them. It's a big chunk of money, people. Sometimes it's the biggest financial decision they'll ever make in their lives.
Yeah.
It gets emotional, it gets messy. And
Here's our
at
last-
closing, then you can go to wine.
Right, here's our last little closing. Buyers will ghost you for 6 months and then send you 10 free foreclosures they found on Zillow. And then ghost you when you respond and then write an offer with the listing agent of a random open house that they wandered into.
That's the solution.
open houses. That's one. Solution is keep in contact with your people.
That's right.
Keep in contact with them.
Get that VA signed.
Get the
for
VA
9
sign
months.
also.
9 months,
Yes.
yeah.
But keep in contact because the minute that you take your hands off of them, someone can swoop in and take your client. And as bad as that feels, you kind of got to look and say, well, when was the last time I really touched base with them? So invite them to the fall festival, right?
All right,
We'll be around if you guys have questions.
does
or if you
anybody
wanna
have any
add to-
questions? If you want to hang out, anybody have any questions right now? We've got two rock stars up here. Who has questions?
We'll be around.
All right, they'll be around. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for taking your time to prep all of that. That was amazing. Did you guys get something good out of it?
Yeah.
All right, give me one give me one thing that you're gonna take from today's meeting and put into place. One thing. Crystal,
Write your business hours on your contract.
business hours on contract, such a great one. Anybody else? One thing.
Lender consultation.
Lender consultation, so good. Cedric.
Yeah, make sure you find out all decision makers. Make sure you know all decision.
All decision makers.
Make sure you know.
Yes. And the last thing is a human will.
Oh,
No.
time to
All right, you
buy.
guys. Go out and change the world today. Thank you for being here.